That way you don't have to pack this far.
Alright, you're not going to get us for any closures or anything.
No, we're allowing you to do it. Okay.
I haven't seen you before. What's your name?
My name is Rich Doyle. I'm from Missoula. I'm with a media organization, and I'm here interviewing people. Hoping to talk to Ed Wood today at 4:30, or his information officer. I didn't know this little occasion was happening today. I just got here today, and I was hoping to go along.
Well, I'm afraid you can't.
I can't go along and help him load his stuff? Why?
Well, because we don't have that many officers, and for the protection and the security of the evidence and whatever else, we're not going to allow that.
What evidence? Security of what evidence?
Well, it's your stuff that's in there. Okay? So we're allowing you to go in and pick it up and bring it back out. It's property.
Do you consider it evidence at this point?
Already evidence?
No.
You just called it evidence.
Well, I did. Semantics.
Well,
whatever.
semantics even count for a lot of
Let's put it this way. It could be construed as that. Okay?
It could be construed as evidence.
So do you want to go
I guess
get
the
it?
basic thing is we're trying to work with you, get your stuff out of the closure area. So if you'd like to get it, we're here
Well,
to.
it can be construed as evidence.
Yeah.
We're not considered we are.
I'm getting my stuff.
Yeah, it can be construed as evidence once they see what it
You have
is.
the right to watch an officer of law at work
Do you want to go get it?
8 to 10 feet away.
Exactly.
Well,
Let's say
that's if you can be in a place where you can legally be. We have closed the area, so that is not a place where you can legally be. So we're allowing you to go in and retrieve your property.
Yeah, it was put there before it was closed.
That's right. That's fine. But now it's closed, and we're allowing you to go in and retrieve it. If you wanna retrieve your property on those guidelines, that's fine. That's
Now,
what we're here to help you.
what do you mean by it could be construed as evidence, like the stuff that's there? Like, if we go get our stuff, I don't want to go out. Okay.
I'm gonna walk in front of you real quick, though.
Take that key and give it to Michelle. Can I have my stool now? Yeah. Hand me the bag. That'll do it. Thank you very much. Now this is the Alternative Forest Service Information Bureau.
Basically, why did I come here from D.C. is kind of because I had heard that what was happening in Idaho and Montana and basically the whole region was just basically that the shit was hitting the fan in this region, that this was a prime example of what was happening with the Forest Service.
Allard has been going on since July 10th, and we've gone 5 weeks now, and while we can't say that we've physically stopped road construction, we've definitely made life very difficult for the Forest Service.
I went inside. I asked the information officer where I could find these two young ladies who stole our signs. She said that I am the only person in uniform here. She thought a moment, then took me back through a labyrinthine corridor where I saw four Freddies sitting in an office, skulking in an office in uniforms. There was one who looked like a handsome gorilla. There was one who looked sort of innocuous, and there were two young ladies who we recognized as the ones who stole our posters. I asked them to return the posters to me. They said that they didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I said, you took those two posters, you took those two posters from our door. They said, I don't know what you are saying, but I said, that is the poster right over there that you stole from us. And I said, well, that one. Well, then they started conferring. Should we give it back to him? The gorilla said, what is your name, sir? Well, I gave him my name, which happens to be Abe Bringle. Well, should we give it back to him? Well, okay, let's give it back to him. So they gave it to me, and I said, well, where's the other one? The other what, sir? The other poster. I don't have another poster. Just said one of the young ladies. I said, come on, you do so. Well, I forgot where it is. That was 5 minutes ago. I'm not the one with it. No, you're not the one with Alzheimer's disease. I might be, but you are not. Well, here it is. Here it is. So I took that and I left, and I came back in a little while, and I said, if we were to do things like that to your offices, you'd arrest us for false arrest. You'd arrest us for all sorts of things. Malicious mischief, resisting arrest.
Come out. Do you have license? You do. Come out. Do you have license?
That's what it looks like, folks. Inside, it's a big. That's what it looks like, folks. That's what it looks like, folks. Inside, it's a big. That's what it looks like, folks. Inside, it's a big. Inside, it's a big. That's what it looks like, folks. Inside, it's a big. What it looks like, folks. Inside, it's a big. That's what it looks like, folks. Inside, it's a big. That's what it looks like, folks. Inside, it's a big. That's what it looks like, folks. Inside, it's a big.
Speaking about militarism, first of all, they agree to have the purification of the army. That means to clean up the Salvadorian army. Well, if we mention names as Dawison or Benavides or General Ponce, you understand why they need to clean up the army. Of course, for us, I would say it will mean that maybe 5 names will come, you know, and that will be like a symbolic gesture, nothing else, because it will be absolutely hard for the army, you know, to bring their people to the court, and that is practically impossible. Who has the power to do that? Who has the guns, you know, to do that? So it will be that is not something easy, but they agree to that. Then there is a second chapter that has to do with the reduction of the army. The Salvadorian army is about 70,000 people, including the security forces. If you think that before the Second War, this country had in service 25,000 people. Think what that means for a small country, 70,000 people.
The United States had 25,000.
25,000 before the Second War, you know. Yeah, before the Second War. So think what that means for a small country. And if we include the reserve of the country, that is about 400,000 soldiers. That is too much. Then I would say they go to the core of the problem, speaking about militarism. Militarism, that is something that is not only a problem for El Salvador, it is a problem for all Latin America, for third world countries, and mainly here. Well, the demonstration in Iraq has to do with militarism. That is very, very clear, you know. We have had in El Salvador, or if we go back to our old name, Cuscatlan, before the Spaniards came, we have had 3 land reforms. One, when there was the invasion of Cuscatlan by the Spaniards in 1523. The land belonged to the natives. They had communal land, and when the Spaniards came in 1523, they started the haciendas. That means huge plots of land that were distributed among the conquerors with the people. And until now we have haciendas. That is one of the main problems after 5 centuries. The second was after the introduction of coffee, the main law in El Salvador. That was in 1867 that coffee was introduced, and the rich at that time, they needed more land. So in 1880 and 1882, the land was confiscated from the natives and also from the cities. Every city had land. So this land could be given to peasants for a year or 2 years so they could plant their crops. And the last one, that was written by the way by some North American, Mr. Prosterman, a professor in Seattle, was enacted in 1980. Following our constitution, nobody in El Salvador can have more than 700 acres of land. So it is incredible to read the 7th chapter. They start just with the problem of land, because the problem of land has to do with the problem of production of food. The first article, they said, lands exceeding the constitutional limit of 245 hectares, as well as any that are the property of the state and are not legally recognized as forest preserves, will be made available to meet the needs of the peasants and small farmers who lack land. 20 years ago, I was preaching this, and we had courses about this, land reform, and I was accused of being communist, and I was kidnapped and tortured. Think now, we have a big table at the United Nations.
There's 375,000 miles of roads on the National Forest in the United States. That makes the Forest Service the #1 road building agency in the world. That's enough roads to go around the circumference of the Earth 15 times. It's 1.5 times to the moon and back. It's 8.5 times the interstate highway system. The Forest Service has broken the law here. The National Forest Management Act mandates that there are not any practices permitted on the national forest that change the water temperature, the chemical composition, the flow, the sediment load, or fish habitat. On every one of those points, the law has been broken.
Canada, Orquí, Suomi, Amskapo. On se kananne kuitenkin tuot kuukuun ja akatikan. Omimaan. Mä kui yhtäkään. Uhtsaa kui minä kun tapsakot. Omimaan. Spadabää pii. Minä puhutsin näin itse. Se tämmöisessä tapsi. Se olisi näin sitä pihviä. On väpyksi ja puttaa. Mieksi näennäkö. Kyllä omi äskeläiset naapuksi. Nämä vatsapiskaakia. Kyllä tässä tapaa ei muuta päivää omaa ja muksillakin niin tämän. Niin, tämän leikki. Kyllä se on sitä pokomuutsia. Kanadin isäskulkea on. Samoin natakatsi tohkutsi ei sitä päivä on mihin kauppaa tsekkääkin opi. Kahtsi kaakkääkin. Tohtohko nääpunista pikka muutamaa. Natsukaa piet. Kilikkaa piekka maaksi. Nakita on näkyssä. Se on tämmöitä kinäkitskimäänit siskaa. On tämmöitä piet. Natsukaa piet maksii. Mäkin tunnetaan. Rakskaukistuksen mä niin eteenpäin.
The head man is getting 115 a month in bribes. The assistant head man is getting 58 a month. And the 4 committee members, this is the whole structure of the government nowadays, are getting $20 a month. Everybody else gets $1.35 a month. And their forest will be gone.
It's really, the situation in Sarawak now is really similar to that of the Native Americans, the American Indians in 1870. The trees are the buffalo. By taking the buffalo away, we took away their economy, we brought the Indians to their knees, they had no other sources of income, they were suddenly dependent on the government, they had to come into the reservations where they could be controlled. Exactly the same in Sarawak. These people have been living wild and free, as we would describe it. They've been living very well, we know, for at least 100 years because we have the accounts of Europeans visiting them. The forest is the source of all their economy, culture, and religion, just as the buffalo were to the Plains Indians. We are taking away the trees, and that will bring them to their knees. They will have to be in a cash economy, in a cash world. They will be under the control of the government, and indeed they'll be on the welfare rolls of the government. And they will have no way of producing cash in a cash economy, especially since Sarawak is not modernizing. It's simply sending the money offshore.
In answer to their calls for help, the SOS Sarawak Action Group was formed. On July 5th, 1991, the SOS Sarawak Action Group occupied 3 timber cranes and barges at Kuala Baram in Sarawak.
Protesters, for the first time, obtained videotape of their experience.
Early Friday morning, 6 Greenpeace activists trespassed onto the Nevada test site, 65 miles northwest of Las Vegas. By Sunday morning, the demonstrators had reached a site in Paiute Mesa, where preparations are underway for a future nuclear weapon test. Once there, the activists unfurled an anti-testing banner and microwaved the video back to a Greenpeace crew waiting outside the area.
We are looking at an incredible chance to stop nuclear weapons.
The demonstrators had hoped to disrupt the work of test site employees, but the site was empty. Test site security arrested the activists Sunday afternoon.
We had them under observation for several hours, just being sure that we did things slowly.
Pretty good, I'm Sharon.
Oh, Mike Lees. Yeah, we had talked to you. We're doing a video actually on the alluvial scrub ecosystem and the 3% or 3 to 5% that's left. And we were wondering if you wouldn't mind doing an interview or
actually,
making a comment. Or
yeah, I talked to Leona about this.
Okay.
You're with Leona, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can't participate right now because there's some litigation pending on some of the same issues that you want to talk about.
Some litigation?
It's not through your group, but it's through another group, and she understands that, and I told her that I wouldn't be able to do it.
So you can't?
I really can't do it, I'm sorry.
And it's just job regulated? Or?
Well, yeah, when it comes to something like this, we have to have a script ahead of time. We have to have it okayed by our regional office in San Francisco, and so it gets real complicated.
Quite the process.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I apologize for you guys coming out. I thought, Leona understood that it was...
That you weren't allowed to comment.
Yeah, that I couldn't do it at this time.
Well, that's fine.
Okay, it's just timing. So.
Okay.
Warning. The following video may turn you into an activist.
American public going to put up with the abuse of animals and rubber pets? Will Smokey the Bear continue to live in fear? Or will Smokey someday be free from the terrible suffering that's being committed to him in the name of national security? What do you think? Do you think that this kind of bear abuse should continue, or do you think we should stop this right now?
I think we should halt all bear abuse.
My children need more room to run and play. Oh, why are we treated this way? And how can the state sell my soul to you? How can the state sell my soul to you?